Hi guys, it's Karen with Love Your Land, and I am now shooting this for the third time because my dogs keep barking. So I cleaned this up the first time. I'm not cleaning it up a second time. We are making soil blocks, actually making them in this video. If you watch my last video, I talk about common mistakes and things you need to consider when soil blocking. And I would really encourage you to watch that video because it will help you to avoid a lot of the mistakes that I made when I first started soil blocking. So that said, in that video, I let everybody know I'm not going to actually soil block in that video. I'm just talking about stuff. But this one, I'm actually going to show you. So this should be pretty quick, as long as they don't bark. Well, it's going to be short no matter what. I'm just trying to clean the soil blocker out a little bit because I literally just made these and they were barking so much, I just dumped them. They were on this tray, dumped them in there, told them to be quiet. We're going to try again. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you what we've got going on here. This is my bin of dry soil that I keep as sort of my inventory soil, right? For whether I'm going to be starting seeds in pots or making soil blocks. This is my small bin where I take my inventory soil, I put it in here and I hydrate it to the appropriate level. If I'm starting in pots, it's only going to be like a wrung out sponge. Soil blocking, it's a lot wetter. There's a lot more water that goes into this. I've already made this soil and so I kind of don't want to. What will I do? This is the second batch of this. So what I start with, I will show you everything I have going on here, but let me tell you this. When I start, I do start with a sifter. You don't have to use a sifter. You can literally take your soil, put it in your bin, pretend this is putting it in the bin, and just make sure you go through it and there aren't any big chunks, like big wood pieces. Here's one right now. This is not that big, but if it was in a 3/4 inch soil block, it would compromise that soil block. The soil block wouldn't hold together if it had a big chunk of lumber in it. So that's what you want to do. If you don't have a sifter and you don't want to buy one, don't. Just make sure you go through and take your time and find, here's 3 more pieces of wood. And this is Pro Mix. So it's not like, oh, if you just use Pro Mix, that won't happen. No. There's chunks of wood in Pro Mix. There for sure is. I've found rocks in here many times. Sticks and stones will break your soil blocks. So pretend I put soil in here that's sifted. Then I would add my water and we'll want to get it to consistency I have here, which I'll show you in a minute. I can't tell you an exact ratio because everybody's going to use a different planting medium. And I mean, some people are going to go, if you go on YouTube and look up soil blocking, you're going to get, I don't know, a ton of people telling you about their soil blocking recipe. I may change my tune on this at some point, but at the date of filming this video, I don't think it's necessary. I think that the right soil blocking recipe is soil and water. That's what I think. Maybe I'll change my mind at some point. I don't know. So this is my bin where I'm going to do my soil blocking. I have here the 3/4 inch, I don't know if I said this or not, and the 2-inch soil blocker. I have some trays here. Why do I have a second tray? Oh, I was going to go to the next thing and then they were barking. Yes. I also have, I have my water that if I was just mixing this up, I would be, using this as my little supply water. And then you'll notice I have, can you see it? Yeah. I have this bin. It's a bigger bin so that when you're blocking, if your blockers get kind of gunked up with soil, which mine are right now, you can put them in here. Give it one of those. And that can help. Sometimes if blocks are sticking, that's why. In my case, blocks just stick when I use the 2-inch blocker. But I have tons of 2-inch blocks. They aren't perfect. It doesn't matter. The other thing is you need to put, if you're using a dry, granular plant food like I am, Trifecta is all I use. It's by M.I. Gardner. I am not willing to change my plant food. I've been using it since he developed it. So Luke, if you're watching, comment down below on how long that's been. But anyway, you need to add your plant food into the soil. There is no way to incorporate dry plant food into a soil block. You have to put it into your mixture, and then make the blocks with that. When you make your 2-inch blocks, right? I mean, not 2-inch, I do this all the time, 3/4 inch blocks. The reason you would do this, I talked about it again in yesterday's video, this is a nesting system. So I only have 2 of the 3 for the nesting system here. But if you started, let's say you started lettuce in here and then they grew and they got to a point where they needed a bigger block or a bigger pot. In this case, the pots are made out of blocks, soil blocks. Then you would make some 2-inch blocks, and you see that black thing in there? It puts a 3/4 inch void in the top of this soil block, so you can pretend this is a 3/4 inch soil block with a plant in it. You take that and you set it right in there. Now, if you don't put the food in to the soil mixture when you're doing 3/4 inch blocks, but you do put them in the 2-inch blocks and you think that's sufficient. You know, once you put them in there, they'll get the food from the 2-inch. It really doesn't work out that way. It takes too long for those roots to actually grow all the way into this 2-inch soil block. And I can show you right now. So I'm looking at some lettuce that has some yellowing. I have rocket arugula that's like purple and green, but there's some purple. And my snapdragons are just like not a good color. And they're in 2-inch soil blocks that have plant food in them. But again, it's taking them way longer to, it's taking too long for those roots to go down and find the food. So it'll eventually kick in, they'll eventually get to it, but it's taking too long. So put it in here too. Don't worry, you're not wasting plant food. The food isn't gonna go anywhere, Plus it's only a 2-inch soil block, so, it's not a 2-inch soil block, it's a 3/4 inch soil block. Just put the plant food in the soil block mixture, okay? All right, so we're gonna so what do you want your soil, I didn't even tell you, what do you want your soil consistency to be like? Everybody who talks about this on the internet says it should be like brownie batter, and I think that's misleading. I don't think that helps me at all, personally, because brownie batter, I can still mix it with a spoon, and it's gooey. It's just like I don't think it's a good comparison. But basically, if you do what I'm about to do, take a ball of soil and squeeze it together. Water should come out your knuckles. When you're done squeezing it out, it should stay together. You should be able to go like this. I just really was, that's what you want. If it's just going like this, you don't have enough water in there. You don't have enough water. So I think I actually want just a tiny little splash more, just to be sure. Okay, now you'll notice I'm not putting the trifecta in. I think I may have already said this, I don't know, because of the dogs. But I'm not actually gonna put it into this right now, just pretend that I did. Because I'm not actually seeding these blocks right now. I'm just doing them to show you. So you put your blocker in, you hold it by this, and scooch it around a couple times. Check to see how you're doing. And I always give them like a gentle little press to make sure that it's not a false sense of security, a false, it can look like this and you push on it and it goes like halfway in and you don't actually have enough soil in there. So that looks pretty good, but I think that one needs a little bit more. But I would definitely check them like that. I don't even think I need to scrape this, but that's what this is for, by the way, to scrape this off so that it's level, so when you put it on there, your blocks don't fall over. So we will go ahead and give it a little, okay? Can you see this? Yeah. So that's all totally evenly packed in there, and we're just gonna squeeze them out. And I don't ever have perfect 2-inch soil blocks, ever, never have. But I have a heck of a lot of 2-inch soil blocks behind you on these grow racks, and the plants are doing perfectly fine in that regard. So as long as the outer walls are really intact to keep that structure together, you're gonna be fine, especially once they grow roots in there, then they're really gonna hold it all together. So this may not turn out perfect, but it's okay. So this is the plunger, and then this piece right here on top, this piece right here on top is connected to this outer shell, the outermost part. And when you're gonna push down on the plunger and you're gonna pull up on that bar at the same time, like push down, keep the pressure all the way down on the tray, and at the same time pull up on this part, and it's going to pull up and you'll be able to release the blocks. So here we go. We're going to push down. Oh, I already did push down and pull up. Nope. Those are pretty much perfect, people. Boop, boop, boop. Let me show you. It's going to be hard to see, I know, because I have these trays that are brown. See? That doesn't help. I just don't want them to fall off. That's what they look like. All right. So we'll do one more set and I'll show you how it normally doesn't work out that way. It really doesn't. Those are like showstoppers. I'm really happy. I guess I'm glad the dogs were barking. I had to reshoot this because the ones in that video didn't look too hot. Okay, so you're gonna check and make sure these are truly this much soil. Yep, they are. Take your scraper. Boom. Cross your fingers, people. Wish me luck. Again, we're gonna push down and pull up. Push down. Why isn't this going down? That's weird. Oh, it's not a plunger. I'm just being stupid. That one plunges, this one doesn't. See, now I messed up. 2 blocks, I don't like them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 2 blocks out. These are perfect, okay? Those are perfect. And now what I'm going to do is I bet you, yeah, I have a lot of, can't see if you can see that. I have a lot of soil in there. So again, this little rinse off method can help. I'm not going to tell you, I don't want to tell you that it's going to make all the difference in the world because it might not. And then you're like, what am I doing wrong? It's just, you're making mud pies, people. You're making mud pies. So scoot your blocker around a couple times, usually just 2 times is all you need, but do that as many times as you need to. And if you have adequate hand strength, you can do this. If you don't have adequate hand strength, but you really want a soil block, see if you can get somebody to help you just make the blocks, and then you can seed them. And in that part's, you know, there's no, you might have a dexterity issue, in which case ask for help with that too. But I'm just saying the soil blocking, this part is the thing that takes the most strength. It's not a lot, but I know for me, when I have I have a problem with my elbow, even holding this would be a problem for me, even though it's not heavy. So I can empathize with you if you have issues like that. But I bet somebody would be willing to play in the mud for you. So ask for help. Oh, I have to put these in here because I only want to replace 2. Now, if all of these come out perfect, maybe I'll just use them. I don't know. But I'm just going to do the same thing. Push down, pull up. Perfect. Actually, none of them are perfect, but they're good enough for me. I think we're going to use this guy actually is perfect. So we'll put him there. See, isn't that amazing? You can actually pick these up. They really do hold together, guys. And then, like I said, especially once they get roots in there, they totally hold up. So I'm going to just go with this. This is fine. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. It's pretty perfect as far as a soil block's going to go. So I'll show you this up close too, just because why not? We've come this far. There you go. Can you see him okay? There we go. Okay, now we're going to do the 3/4 inch blockers. This guy is so much easier to work with. It really is. I mean, this isn't that hard, but that one's really easy. As you'll see here in a minute, it's just like super easy. So we'll take another tray and, oh, my blocker just fell over and crushed oh well, like I said, I'm not actually going to seed those, so it doesn't matter, but I just destroyed a block. This just fell over right into it. Okay, you go over here. So, same thing with this guy. You're just gonna pack that soil in there. Make sure there aren't any sort of not actually packed spots. That's good. Scrape it off. That's it. And this one actually plunges down and then you pull up. So both of them you're going to push down and pull up. But this one, you'll see it actually goes down, I think. No, it doesn't. You just push down. Where did I get this plunger thing from? I don't know. Just push down really hard and pull up on this bar in the middle. That's funny. I say they work every time. There we go. There we go. Let me show you. These are just like my favorite things to make because they're so dang cute. You see them? They're perfect. And these, again, these are super duper easy. Where are we at on time? Okay. Super duper easy. You may not need a 3/4 inch blocker. Depending on what you're going to be growing, you may just skip this one altogether. But again, watch that other video and you can see all kinds of reasons why you might want one. But even in the other video, I do say that if you're just going to buy one blocker, let it be the 2-inch. It's totally versatile. You can grow anything in it, and it'll meet all of your needs, except for spacing. Space. It will take up more space. This is 20, and I'll do 2 more. So I'll have 80 plants on this tray. 80 plants on an 8x10 tray. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And can they live on there forever? Some can. If they're very slow growers, then yes. So in that case, if you're growing flowers, for example, that's a good example. Snapdragons, Lisianthus. Definitely invest in one of these because you can start so many more and you will take up such less space. All my soil blocks, I have like easily 600 plants. I'm serious. And I'm only taking up 2 racks. And this is only a 48-inch wide rack. You do the math. I certainly can't. All I know is it's a heck of a lot more plants than I've ever been able to fit on. I've never grown this many plants in my grow room, ever, my grow space. Okay, what's happening right now, I can tell you, I'm just gonna roll with it, it's fine. But when you get down to the bottom, as you can imagine, since this soil mixture is so wet, as you get down to the bottom, where you're pushing and pushing and pushing, it gets a little soupy down at the bottom. So right now my soil blocks are a little too sticky, but we're just going to try anyway. I don't know if I said this in this video or if it was in the one that I'm going to delete that my dogs barked through, but there are a ton of soil blocking recipes out there. Recipes. Okay, look, I might change my tune at some point. It's possible. But at this point in time, I think I already did say this. At this moment, I don't see any need to use anything but soil and water and your plant food. It's just my opinion. Sure, you could get as elaborate as you want with really anything, right? But to just basically soil block and grow your plants, all you need is soil, water, and some kind of plant food. In this soil, if I didn't say I did, it's ProMix. So there you have it. 80 soil blocks. In how many minutes? A couple minutes, and I was jabbering the entire time. So that's all there is to it, you guys. It's just really, really easy. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? I don't know how to, there we go. There. Wouldn't it be funny if they all fell off? I don't think that would be funny. I think that would really aggravate me. Anyway, that is it. That is how you make soil blocks. Just don't drop your soil blocker onto them and you'll be fine. Now at this point, this is actually unbelievable to me. The number of times I've had to shoot this. Can I just share this? So I shot the first one and the battery died in the middle of it. So I just reshot it anyway because it wasn't very organized. Then I shot the second one where the dogs were barking and you didn't hear that because I deleted that video. Then I shot this video that you're seeing now I get right to my parting comments and the camera overheated. Fine, it's fine. So I shot my closing comments again. I just finished right now and realized I didn't have my mic on. So if this overheats, forget it. I'm just throwing this all in the trash. Anyway, when you're done with your soil blocking, okay, you really shouldn't do these in advance unless you're going to take care of them like they're seeded, meaning misting them every single day and keeping them covered. But you might as well just wait until you're ready to actually seed your pot or your blocks. Because it's really hard to reconstitute. If you were to just make them ahead of time and leave them under there, they're going to dry out completely. And then it's pretty hard to rehydrate them. So don't do that. You're going to seed assuming you're going to seed your blocks right now, you're going to seed your blocks and then you're going to cover them with plastic wrap. And you're going to keep them covered with plastic wrap. Just take it off once a day, mist them, put the plastic wrap back on. As I said in my previous video, you're going to be hard pressed to find humidity domes that fit, unless you're using a 1020 tray. If you're using a 1020 tray, then you can just use a 1020 dome. But like I said in that video, I don't really recommend those. One thing I didn't say about why I don't recommend the 1020 trays is that they have high sides, the regular trays. And another thing I didn't say in that video is the common denominator here with the trays I do recommend, which would be styrofoam meat trays or these fiberglass food trays, is that they have a shallow edge. And you want that. You want airflow around these things. That's part of the air pruning process. It's part of the whole reason that you're soil blocking in the first place, is to have airflow. So use plastic wrap or a humidity dome if you want to, but if you only have one tray that needs a humidity dome and all you have is a 1020 and you have a tray this size, you're wasting a lot of real estate in those racks with a dome that only has this much underneath it, okay? The next thing you want to do is make sure you clean your blockers. And what I recommend you do is give them a pre-rinse in this bucket that we had here. Give them a pre-rinse to get the bulk of the soil out of there. And then there's really not a lot of soil on there. It's just little crumbs. And then you can take them to the sink. And I don't think it would be a problem at that point. I'm not a plumber, okay? Let's be clear, I'm not a plumber. So there's that. The last thing I will say, boy, am I making a mess. The last thing I will say is that if you, that's a piece of wood. If you do soil block, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to use every little bit that's left in here. But remember how wet this is. So you do not want to take this lid and close it up because it will become quite anaerobic. Is that the right word? It's real stinky and gross and bacteria filled. You do not want that. You don't want to seal up this mixture. It's too wet. So what I do is I just go like that. I have not had an issue with like a big additional issue with what are they called? Fungus gnats. By doing this, we also do treat with a natural product in here, but I still have fungus gnats, but they haven't increased. So I don't think they like this. It's too wet, maybe. I don't know. But I would not cover it. Whatever you do not cover it or seal it up in any way, or it's going to be really gross and stinky. Anyway, I think that is it for now. I think that's everything I wanted to tell you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.